Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with more MAGFAST 2023. I'm your host, the excellent one, HCH, Hardcore Hex. Guys, I gotta say so far, fantastic work. We are 1/4 into our donations that we have raised so far. Trying to hit that goal of 5,000, but we have so far raised $1,330.99, all going to Child's Play, all going to the kids. Guys, thank you so much. With that being said, let's get to the games, shall we? Up now, we got rujasu, and he is going to be playing Dungeons and Dragons Warriors of the Eternal Sun. So give it a round for him. Let's go over right now.
They, them pronouns. This is Warriors of the Eternal Sun, a Dungeons and Dragons game. One of the first RPGs I ever played. Before we get started, I am going to need to know what won the bid war.
With that being said, as far as the poll went, the winner is the elf that raised $320 worth. Thank you so much.
So I have never done the elf in a marathon before, but I have practiced it, so let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Yeah, totally what I meant to do there. All right, so I'm rolling dice here to get an elf with 18 strength. So I know the exact pattern that I'm looking for here, and there it is. So, yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. Just mash through these. All right. Here we go. So, you'll notice there are 4 party members in this game. We don't care about characters 2 through 4. They're going to die here, and we're just going to use the elf that's in front because it's just faster. So, this is a game from the early 90s on the Sega Genesis. It takes place in the Hollow World setting of D&D. So it's, sort of this thing where you're transported to this weird underground area. The plot's not very important here. It's, it's Dungeons and Dragons. It's about what you'd expect from that sort of game. So you're supposed to kind of, explore and branch out and try to find allies. I don't need to do much exploring here. I know where I'm going. So I'm just gonna head straight for like the hardest areas and skip all the introductory stuff. And it's gonna be fine because I'm not gonna get hit by much, and yeah. One weakness with the elf here, as opposed to some of the other character classes I could use, is the elf has pretty poor hit points. So, a bit of a glass cannon, but it's going to be fine. I have some ways to mitigate that. You'll notice on the overworld for this game is kind of like an Ultima game, where you have kind of roving bands of monsters that you encounter. We're going to avoid all of those overworld encounters, mostly by just moving in a certain way, but also by doing some other tricks. So you'll notice I haven't encountered anything. That's because of the way I'm walking. I'm just walking in areas where I know I'm not going to encounter anything. This is just a safety save here. So I'm going to go in this cave with a bunch of enemies that I'm not supposed to be facing yet, and I'm going to get everybody killed off except the elf. And then we're going to run back here, and I can't fight this dragon, so I'm just going to sneak by it. And it's not very smart, so it just kind of lets me go. So just going to wait for it here. It can't hit you while it's sliding from side to side like that, so we can really take advantage of that and avoid getting hit by things. So I'm going to equip some good weapons here. I'm going to turn numbers on because numbers are a lot easier to read than bar graphs. And I'm gonna kill this fire giant by doing kind of a dance here to make sure I don't get hit. Right? So I leveled up. I'm gonna level up again because 11 HP is really low. So I'm just gonna do a little bit more grinding here. If we have time for any announcements or anything, certainly go for it while I'm grinding here.
Currently, no new donations as of yet, but we are still accepting them. Please, !donate in the chat to know how to donate. Or if you're here live in the audience, we have the QR code over here to the right of the room. Thank you guys so much so far.
One more just to get that HP value a little bit higher. 21, that's great. The dice were kind to me. So I'm just gonna go north here and just kill some things that do a plot trigger because RPG. So this is just kind of so I've leveled up to like level 4, and with the weapons I have, this elf is basically strong enough to get through the rest of the game. So this enemy has like that special artwork there, like it's some really difficult boss or something. It's a complete pushover. You kill it in like 3 hits. So anyway, we're going to be coming back to this cave in just a minute. But first, because it's an RPG again, I have to backtrack to town and pick up a thing, and then we get to come back. So this is going to be kind of what you saw earlier, where I'm just walking, avoiding encounters, and then we're going to get to the real meat of this run when I go back in that cave. So yeah, do you have any questions about the run or anything? So I just did a trick there to avoid that encounter. I saw an enemy coming, so I just saved the game and reloaded it. And the game just lets you do that, and when you reload, there's no more enemy. So this one I'll just actually just walk around. I don't need to do that. It does cost me about like 5 seconds to save and reload, but actually getting into an encounter on the overworld takes like minutes. So that's why we don't want to do that at all. So we get all of our experience and everything by just fighting things in the dungeon, and even then we tend to avoid stuff as much as possible. So I could get an encounter like right out here because there's a big open space. When I'm walking on the overworld, I'm trying to stay like near rivers and trees and things like that, because it's like if you're walking toward an obstacle, the game just won't spawn anything. So that's really good for avoiding encounters. Moderate Jog did a lot of Moderate Jog, who's the world record holder for this game, did a lot of work to figure out exactly how you move to, get through the overworld portions as fast as possible. So we're back in town here. There's a bunch of identical people walking around, all that stuff. There's a shop. We don't need the shop. I do need the shop if I'm doing this run as the cleric, but fortunately I'm doing it as the elf, so I don't have to do any of that. But yeah, I just talked to Marmillion, who's kind of the advisor person in this game, kind of old wizard, wise man type, and just picked up a key item that I need for the next bit. And then I went to the Caravan, which warps me right back to the cave that I was just at. So when we go in the cave this time, we're going to actually go through it and fight a bunch of stuff, and so I'm going to safety save here because there are actually a couple of pretty dangerous points here. The first of which is this carrion crawler here, which is usually fine, but every once in a while it hits you with a paralyze attack. It didn't there, so that was nice. These tuataras are a little dangerous, but usually I kill them before they can do anything. Those troglodytes there, we can just walk past them. They just kind of, they're chill. We don't have to worry about them at all. These, though, I have to fight. They're not too threatening, but there are a bunch of them. It hit me for one, that's fine. Every point of damage counts in this game because you only have, 20-some HP, but this is a pretty good place to be here with 20. The only problem is, coming up, we're going to have to fight the Phobosukis, which can basically one-shot me at this point in the game, because it hits for almost 20 damage, so I have to be really careful here. Got it. So all I have to do here now is walk up here, touch the door, and go back. So now I'm just running back and trying to get through this mass of troglodytes that just kind of comes up behind me. Okay, I got past them. That was all perfect. So now I'm just running back out of the cave, and I'm hoping that I don't encounter a bunch of rats and toads and spiders and stuff on the way out. Sometimes there can be a bunch of those, and they're not difficult to fight or anything, but they just get in the way. Like, you see a few of them here. But that wasn't too bad, just a couple of them. So now we're out. That was a pretty good cave there. So now I'm gonna go east to another cave. A lot of caves in this game. And that is going to take us to the Ascan Jungle. So again, this is just kind of an overworld portion. If you have anything to say or anything to ask about, please feel free.
I do have somebody in the chat asked, do the dead party members just pog the whole game?
Yeah, pretty much. They actually come back to life at the very end, but yeah, they are just amazed at everything they're seeing here. Yeah, so again, this is just kind of, walk along the river. There are a couple spots where I could get an encounter or anything, but nothing to really worry about. I'll be at the next cave in like a minute. Bunch of trees close together here. They can be a little tricky to navigate. Just gotta find the little spots there that you can squeak in between, and there are other spots that look like you should be able to get through, but you totally can't. So in this cave, normally I go through this cave very quickly, but since the elf has low HP and I want to be, marathon safety and all that, I'm going to pick up a healing item in here called the Ring of Regeneration. And so that's just going to regenerate my HP passively, kind of tick it up every now and then. And that's going to be enough healing to get me through the entire game. It's just helpful in case, I take some damage here and there. Because again, only 24 HP does not give me a lot of wiggle room. So slayed some trolls, got a ring, going back. I have to deal with these scorpions here, but I can, again, just kind of take advantage of the little paws when they slide from side to side and get past them unscathed. Same with these saber-tooths. I do have to fight this one right here, and it can be kind of dangerous, but it didn't hit me. So I'm in the jungle now. This jungle is populated by the Azcan people, which, you know, it's an old school D&D game, so gotta have some questionable portrayals of indigenous people somewhere. But we're gonna go, you know, raid their temple and get a ring and get out, because it's a ring of fire resistance, and we're really gonna need that for kind of one of the last areas we have to go to in this game. So I'm just gonna do save load there. Right here was the only forced overworld encounter that we have to deal with, but just like all the other overworld encounters, you can just save and load and you don't have to deal with it at all. So this is the Azcan Temple, which is kind of the hardest dungeon in the early to mid game. The final dungeon's a little worse, but this game is particularly difficult to navigate because there are a lot of traps, and so I have to kind of take weird routes and go through secret doors to avoid those traps. The enemies aren't that threatening, but those traps can take out your hit points very, very quickly. That Viper hit me for 6, which is not great, but I'm in pretty good shape here. I haven't taken a lot of hits, haven't accidentally walked on traps, anything like that. So this is a pretty good position to be in. So one thing that's tricky with this is kind of, especially when you're just learning it, but even once you're experienced, if you take like one wrong turn in this area, everything kind of looks the same, and so you're just like immediately lost. And you might have to actually stop and look at your map to get back on track. So you really want to make sure that you stay on like exactly the right route. Don't have any stray inputs or anything. So again, this is kind of, you know, like not a boss fight exactly, but a key fight. There are a bunch of enemies in here, but we can just kill that one from a distance, and we're just gonna come up here, get this fire ring, and then just walk right back out as quickly as we can and not take too much damage. So that was all we had to do in this whole entire dungeon, just walk in there, get a ring, get out. This dungeon has been going great so far. This can be a tricky one. It's especially tricky if you don't have the regen ring, healing you up every few seconds, but just in general, it's a tricky one. The only thing I'm worried about on the way out here is there is like 1 or 2 enemies that can give me a sickness, which would make me unable to heal for the rest of the game. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but otherwise I should be pretty safe here for the rest of this dungeon at least.
We just got a $10 donation from Ari Boreella says Rujasu doesn't need any other party members. The elf reliant. Thank you so much for the donation.
Thank you so much. Love to see good donations and good jokes. Or bad jokes, depending on your perspective. So yeah, like I said, it can be a little tricky to navigate this, first-person maze where everything looks the same and you have to walk through a bunch of walls. But we're out. We're in good condition. So we're just going to do a little more backtracking, and then we're going to see some more exciting dungeons. And maybe dragons. So I could get an encounter here because there's kind of wide open space here, but I'm going to kind of just zigzag along the bottom so that at least some of the time I'm walking towards something, and I'll just go ahead and safety save for good measure. It's possible that I slip up an input here and these saber-tooths can just kill you in 1 or 2 hits. That was fine. And these scorpions here, they can poison you, but I was able to get past them okay. So yeah, this giant here is not an issue. Shoot it. I'm going to be taking a slightly different route on the way back, but basically I'm just going back to the cave where I was at the beginning, where I was grinding and killing giants and stuff, but I'm just going to take a different route through it, and then I'm going to get to an area where that ring of fire resistance is really going to come in handy for me. So again, I'm just trying to walk so that I don't get encounters, or if I do get encounters, they're way out of my way, like that giant was up at the top of the screen when I was near the bottom, so I didn't have to worry about that. There's a lot of subtle things going on with this overworld movement. Yeah, if you have anything you want to say, go right ahead.
Currently no new donations at this time. But like I said, exclamation donate in the chat, and they'll show you all the details on how to donate, as well as the QR code over here on the right side for everyone here in the live audience. And of course, another thing too, if you're unable to donate, we totally understand. Best way you can do to help out this stream is definitely letting everyone know on social media. Let them know what we're doing here on twitch.tv/MAGFAST. Thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely. Let everybody know about this great event for great cause. So, yeah, like I said, this is an area where we definitely need fire resistance. You can't even get up here without it. Sneak past this dragon. So coming up is kind of a dangerous area. It's actually going to be more dangerous on the way back than on the way in. On the way in, I can just kill these 2 scorpions and just walk right by. But on the way out, I'll have to kill at least 4 of them, and they can be a nuisance sometimes. So I'm just going to move this item out. So I've actually completed the Duke's quest, which is the supposed goal of the game, to go find allies and bring back something demonstrating that we found them. So like I said, those scorpions on the way out can be difficult. The good news is they didn't poison me, but they did take out a good chunk of my health. Fortunately, I have the Ring of Regeneration. That would be a real problem if I didn't have the ring, but I should have enough time here that I'll just heal that back up while I'm walking. I'm gonna have to do a save and load here. So, the idea is we're supposed to take this medallion right back to the castle, show it to the Duke, game over, everything's fine. If you've ever played an RPG before, you know that it's never quite that easy. So, when we get back to the castle, there's going to be a twist, and we're going to have to do just a little bit more, but not too much more. So, yeah, this is fine. That was close. So we're just gonna, head over this bridge here, get back to the castle, party it up with the Duke. Everything's gonna be fine, right? So yeah, it always amazes me that they. We were at this castle like, what, 15 minutes ago? Look how trash this place is. They did a number on this place. So yeah, basically everybody in town just kind of had their minds poisoned and destroyed everything, ran off into the wilderness. Marmillion's the only person left. He gives us a scroll to go deal with the monster that's poisoning everyone's mind. So we're gonna go do that by doing a very smart thing, which is walking into the graveyard, just jumping in a grave here. See some zombies here. They're no big deal. So this dungeon's not too bad. There we go. There are some secret doors and stuff, but the enemies are generally avoidable. There are some dragons coming up that I have to move in kind of a precise way to avoid fighting them. I have to wait here for just a second. Let it move like that. Wait here for a second. That one decides not to move, so I can just walk past it. So now I'm in the final area here. I'm going to be in the final dungeon in just a second. And I will warn you in advance, the final dungeon is difficult. I might die. I might even die twice. So I'm definitely going to do a safety save here. So I'm going to try and move as fast as possible here. If I move just the right way, this will go very smoothly. If I make a mistake, then it will go not so smoothly. Okay, it worked. So now I just kind of spam arrows and hope that these elves just kind of dodge out of the way of the arrows. Kind of worked. So here's the second to last floor of the game, where I'm just fighting some elves. These elves aren't too dangerous, but they can be a pain just because they have high dexterity, and attacks miss them a lot. So you have to just kind of spam the attack button, hope a few attacks land, and these wizards here are dangerous if you melee them. They will hit you with fireball for like 20 damage, but if you attack them from range, they don't cast fireball. That always seemed kind of backwards to me. Like, don't you shoot the fireball from far away? But for some reason they don't. Alright, so this is the last floor and probably the most dangerous part of the run. So I have to deal with this giant here. This giant can hit me for like 25 in one hit, and this chimera can hit me for a bunch of hits at once, so I'm just going to sneak past it. There's a vampire here that will only take damage from magic weapons. Fortunately, I do have magic weapons, so not too much of a problem. Also, he drains your level, so I don't want to melee him. Medusa here is no problem. Goes down really quickly. And this giant here is dangerous. Sometimes he gets out of the way, but that time he didn't. But we got him from a distance. This giant's not so bad. So just 2 more enemies to go here, and that'll be time. This chimera I can kill or slip past, but I'll kill it just to be safe. And then there's a dragon here, and right after that it'll be time. That's it, time. So yeah, that was Warriors of the Eternal Sun, an official Dungeons & Dragons product. So glad you could have me on here to show off this game and its awesome soundtrack and its awesome dinosaur gods. Yeah, this was, like I said, one of the first RPGs I ever played, one of my favorite games. Shout outs to, again, Moderate Jog, who developed a lot of strategies for this game and currently holds the world record in both this and the any percent category. Also to Lance, Weejui, and XI13, who are other runners for this game, who all held the world record at some point. And yeah, thanks to all of you for watching and donating and having me on for this event. Really enjoyed it.
Once again, give it up for rujasu. Thank you so much for that playthrough of Dungeons & Dragons. Guys, please stick around. We got more MAGFAST going on, as well as we are still accepting donations. So exclamation donate in the chat. We'll give you all the details, as well as for our wonderful live audience in here. We do have a QR code to the right side of the room that you can scan and get the details and donate here live with us. Coming up next, we're going back to Mega Man. That's right. Mega Man X2, my personal favorite. And matter of fact, I'm going to be streaming it. Yours truly, the Excellent One, Hardcore Hex. Don't go anywhere. We're going to get ready for this game. Stick around. More MAGFAST coming at you.